thank you for joining us. My name is Julie Sullivan and I'm the commercial lead on the furniture team. I'm delighted to introduce you to the project set up to implement a new furniture and associated services agreement. This presentation will last about 20 minutes. It will include an introduction to the team, what we're looking to achieve with the new agreement, and an overview of Crown Commercial Service. If you have any questions, chances are that someone may be thinking the same. Our email address is at the end of the presentation. Please feel free to contact us and we'll distribute a Q&A document to everyone. If you would like to learn more about Crown Commercial Service, at the end of the main presentation there will be additional slides which will provide further detailed information. Let me introduce you to the team. John Keller heads up the furniture team with other CCS categories including estate management services and our new food category. I am the commercial lead for furniture, leading the strategic direction of the category. Richard Carter is the commercial agreements manager, managing the operational activities of the current framework and the new procurement. And Claire Jones is the commercial agreement specialist on the team, supporting both Richard and myself. Now I'll hand over to Richard and Claire, who will talk to you in more detail about the current framework and our hopes for the future agreement.
Hello, I'm Claire, the Commercial Agreement Specialist on the Furniture team. The current agreement RM6108 has been live for 2 years, and although it expires in 2024, now it's time for us to commence work on the replacement commercial vehicle. The agreement we have covers a number of product areas. Each sits in its own dedicated lot. Office furniture is split across 2 lots. Lot 1 is our standard offering and Lot 8 is for the new government hubs rollout. Office furniture has always been the most popular product area with the largest demand. Over the years, the number of suppliers has changed on the furniture agreements we have offered. There's currently 20 suppliers across all lots, which is our highest number. The market is heavily dominated by SMEs. This is demonstrated with over 80% of our suppliers being a small or medium-sized business. The agreement is available to all public sector organisations to use. Historically, central government customers have been our largest users, with demand coming from the Ministry of Defence and the government estate hubs. These customers have been heavily involved in shaping how the current agreement looks. And whilst we believe the requirements could be similar to others, we have had limited input from wider public sector. The current agreement has seen an increase of over 200% in wider public sector usage last year. However, there is still work for us to do in order for us to really understand its needs. Customers can call off from the framework via direct award or a competition between all suppliers on the chosen lot. There is a catalogue of core items which are priced at framework, and customers can direct award their requirements against these. Prices can be improved at call-off. Non-core items are the framework supplier's wider range. Prices have just been increased after being fixed for 2 years. Prices can be increased now on an annual basis. This slide provides you with an overview of some of the items on offer through our current framework via the 8 lots.
Hi, I'm Richard and I'll cover the new agreement process. We're right at the beginning of our journey and so we're currently in our engagement stage and we'd really like you to get involved to help us shape how the new agreement looks, from the products and services on offer through to understanding the best way of meeting the required policies, simplifying access and getting best value. As we look to the next iteration of the commercial agreement, there are a number of areas that we see we need to build on. A need for an updated and rationalised product offering in existing categories as well as new provision for specific sectors. We know the working world is looking very different since the pandemic, and many of us are in different stages of finding what that new normal is. Hybrid working is being adopted by a lot of organisations, and so we'll continue to offer and expand on what we have in this space. We need to ensure appropriate supplier numbers across all framework lots, alignment with the CCS corporate digital portal or a dedicated category offer, to improve attractiveness and encourage new entrants to the CCS furniture category, to meet the needs of both central government and the wider public sector. It's particularly important that we enable the framework to be further utilised by wider public sector, and we'll do this by engaging and working closer during the development process to ensure a model which meets and leverages market capabilities, to put in place a fit-for-purpose commercial model suitable for large and small requirements, particularly in the current economic climate, improved opportunity for innovation, supporting and aligning to government's relevant policy areas such as enabling social value outcomes, sustainability and carbon net zero. Our agreement must help drive customer buying behaviours and support public sector customers and the government at large in meeting its net zero targets. For the framework agreement, as an example, all suppliers will be required to have a carbon reduction plan in place, evidenced in the tender submission. Modern slavery risk assessments, alignment to the new prompt payment policy, and continuing to give SMEs the opportunity to access public sector business. As you can see, this next slide shows you the high-level timeline that we'll be working to for the new agreement. The PIN was issued in April, and so we'll be engaging right the way through with customers and suppliers until probably January 2023, where we'll look to then have our final strategy in place in February 2023. The peak of the engagement will probably finish in probably November time, but there's still scope to refine some key aspects between then and February, and we'll be going to full business case in March 2023. Hopefully, once we've had the nod to progress, we'll start building the actual tender pack and the documents with our sourcing team before that goes out in June or July 2023 to commence the tender process. We'll look to award in December 2023 with a view to going live in March 2024 at the time the current framework agreement expires. Engagement has started with both the customer and supplier surveys that closed a couple of weeks ago. We're now poring over the responses to look at the key themes and feedback, and we'll look at some of those on the slide after this one. This initial presentation will be the first of a number of sessions to allow CCS to continue to engage with both the market and customers with each stage of the process. This allows us to test our knowledge and understanding with industry and with customers before building the right solution. CCS will work with key stakeholders to understand customer requirements to support the development of the agreement. Contact details for the CCS furniture team will be provided at the end of the session, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on our planned approach. This slide is giving a flavour of some of the themes that we've received through the supplier survey. There's been feedback around allowing buyers to call off for design services to help them define and scope out their requirements. In terms of SMEs, 81% of respondents were SME suppliers. 90% have or are working to have a carbon reduction plan. There should be a greater ability to direct award and to reduce the restrictions for buyers, including raising or removing the value threshold. Simplifying the call-off process for both buyers and suppliers. Making improvements to the spec and core list, including modernising the offer in certain lots and rationalising the core list to better reflect what customers are buying, especially when looking to grow in particular markets. We need to enhance the repair and the renovations lot. Should offer greater flexibility to facilitate industry development such as hybrid and activity-based working, improve sustainability, repair and renewal, including building that in at design, and smart furniture. In terms of prompt payment, 71% confirmed they pay over 90% of supply chain invoices within 60 days. 13% were between 90 and 95%. We need to increase customer awareness of the ability to buy remanufactured furniture or have some sort of dedicated offering. 80% of suppliers had a positive or extremely positive experience of working on the CCS framework agreement, which is great news. We need to ensure suppliers to other CCS categories such as construction and FM consider the furniture framework as part of their large projects and contracts. And we shouldn't expand the agreement to cover kitchens and white goods, etc. There's a risk of trying to become all things to all buyers, and this is moving us out of the core market area. Following on from the supplier slide, these are the themes that came out of the customer survey. There's definitely some synergies with what we looked at just on the previous slide as well. The top three responding sectors were central government, health and local government. There was talk about rationalising the core list, including adding items that support home working and hybrid office environments. 32% of responses received were from organisations that used alternative frameworks and routes to market in addition to CCS, and I think it's really key that we actually go back and follow up with these organisations just to find out what it is we can do to help them in future. There should be a greater ability to direct awards and to reduce restrictions, including raising or removing the value threshold. Existing customers indicated that 89% had either a good or excellent experience with using the CCS agreement. There should be a recycling or leasing option. The framework should allow for buyers to call off for design and interior design services, as we mentioned before. We should increase some of the supplier numbers on a couple of the lots, i.e. residential. They want access to manufactured items, so possibly having a dedicated lot going forward. Should be a better option to get items repaired or reupholstered. Access to kitchen items and white goods, or I think for at least CCS to define to them the best route to market for this. There should be a focus on social value and carbon net zero in line with government policies. Simplifying the call-off process and maybe consider some sort of digital access. We should expand the offer to cover housing associations and health, improving the price matrix to allow better formatting and filtering and searching to allow customers to find what they want within that. Specialist items, display screen equipment and workplace adjustments for both home and office provision through the agreement. And to update the office and residential offer for the defence estate as well came out as a key theme. The surveys have provided some great insight into the thoughts of the market and the broad array of customers. We're now looking to pick up these themes, test them, and look at how we can put them in place. Essentially, we want to work with you. We're committed to obtaining value for money and supporting small and medium-sized enterprises through our procurements. This has been done through a range of measures, including prompt payment, increasing visibility of tenders, and ensuring our agreements are structured to ensure a range of suppliers that can access them. SMEs are a key component of the commercial agreements we create, not only because of the government spend aspirations, but because of the diversity they bring to our supply chains. This is an opportunity for organisations of all sizes and types of furniture supplier, from manufacturers, resellers and dealers, to become CCS suppliers. In terms of customers, any public sector organisation will be able to use the agreement, and it's critical that we engage as far and wide as possible. CCS are looking to build strong relationships with both customers and suppliers via the early market engagement and once the agreement's live, and will closely work with successful suppliers and continuously improve the furniture offering and the support on offer to public sector customers. Our commercial solution must meet customer needs. CCS would like to work with you to develop the right solution to improve procurement efficiency. CCS want to collaborate with suppliers to deliver value for our customers and support the development of your business.
Over the next couple of months, we will be engaging with customers, suppliers and stakeholders, both internally and in the marketplace. Customers, could you please pass this message on to your colleagues in estates as well as commercial and ask them to get involved? Alternatively, share their contact details with us and we can get in touch with them. We need the help of customers to enable us to create something that is fit for purpose for you and to allow us to include all sectors' needs. If you have any preferred suppliers you'd like us to engage with, please pass us their details and we can inform them of the PIN for them to register interest in the engagement process. We will then be moving on to stakeholder working groups. Again, we'd love to have representatives from local authorities. We are particularly interested in answers to the following questions. What have the barriers been to using the CCS furniture agreement? What has been your preferred route to market? Are your purchases usually one-off, ad hoc, BAU or project-based? Suppliers, your input is essential. We've received your initial views on the survey, but we would like to hold a number of one-to-one meetings to discuss themes in more detail. We intend on holding one-to-one meetings over a week commencing 4th of July and the 11th of July. The 4th of July will be held in London and the 11th of July will be held in Liverpool. Of course, there's also the option to hold a meeting virtually online. If you would like to have a one-to-one meeting, please email us. Many thanks to those who have already informed us that you would like a one-to-one. And finally, if you would like to give feedback on this webinar so that we can improve our strategy moving forward, please feel free to contact us. We welcome your thoughts. You can stay up to date with our progress by accessing our website, details of which are on the following slide along with our contact details. If you have any questions, please feel free to email them to us. We will collate and issue a Q&A document accordingly. If you would like to know more about Crown Commercial Service, please stay online to view the additional slides. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch our presentation.